You had lots of people in the commentary box with you, but there were two legendary partnerships, weren't there? There was James Hunt and Martin Brundle. Let's talk about James first. You know, tell us about why that worked and what it was like to work with James.
It's difficult to know where to start with James, because he was a unique character, Tom. He didn't care about what anybody thought. He was an extrovert. He was a showman. He drank too much. He smoked too much. He womanized like there was no tomorrow. He could be the most arrogant, overbearing, objectionable person you've ever met in your life, and frequently was. But all the time there was a really decent, cheerful, friendly, nice person hiding inside. And when he retired from broadcasting, the nice chap took over. Sorry, when he retired from racing, the nice chap took over. But I had some very difficult times with James. I had some very good times with James.
What would trigger?
To tell you what he was like, I used to you rush about the paddock all the time, beavering away, talking to people, talking intensely to drivers, to principals, to tyre technicians, to anybody who would talk to me about anything to do with Formula One, while James would languidly sit in the Marlborough motorhome and everybody went to him. And I would get to the commentary box an hour before the race began. James would get to the commentary box maybe 5 minutes before the race began. And to wind me up, he would often say, "Who's in pole position, Murray?" And I used to stand up to commentate literally on the balls of my feet with adrenaline pouring out of me by the bucketful. James would sit in a sort of sullen heap beside me and gesture for the microphone when he wanted it, or I would give it to him when I wanted him to say something. And there were times when he hadn't really got very much to say, but when he had got something to say, it was really worth listening to. Why did it work? I was old enough to be his father, Tom. And as you will gather, James did a lot of things and said a lot of things that I didn't approve of, and vice versa, probably. But I think it was probably partly because of that. Because we grew to be tolerant of each other, I used to want the microphone. I was so excited and wanting to impart everything that I had learned and was watching that I really didn't want anybody else in the box with me. I didn't really want James Hunt. I was quite happy to do it all by myself. So James had that aspect to put up with. I had other aspects to put up with. James was incredibly outspoken. And used to say the most outrageous things and get away with it. And the public loved him. And on one occasion, he didn't turn up at all, the Belgian Grand Prix one year. And we were frantically getting retired drivers to come to the commentary box to talk to me about what it was like. James formed up afterwards and said he was sorry he hadn't been there, but he was in bed with a stomach complaint. It was the first time I'd ever heard two Belgian nurses called a stomach complaint.
Very true to form from what I've heard about him. But would you say you were friends by the end?
Yeah, oh, definitely. By the end, we were. Yeah. Not really at the beginning. We were reluctant partners from my point of view. James obviously wanted to do it, but no, we were all right at the end.
What impact did his death have on you personally?
Well, it obviously had an enormous impact because I'd been working with him for 13 years, 16 times a year, 4 days at a time, and if you multiply 16 by 13 by 4, you get a very big number. So I greatly missed the partnership,